Toronto Maple Leafs just sent a serious message as they take down the Chicago Blackhawks in a game that saw a lot of positives, and we also saw Anthony Stolarz dominate once again. We're going to break down the game, discuss what it means going forward, because this is the first win in what is going to be an extremely electric and an extremely busy month of December. So welcome in, everybody. It's the first stream of December. It is Christmas season. Vibes are high. The Toronto Maple Leafs vibes are high. The team is absolutely rolling right now. They're 15. They have their 15th win. Welcome in Scorch, Jacob, Duster, Jim, Nick, Shane, everybody. Hope we're all doing well, and I'm doing well. What a phenomenal game for the Leafs. I mean, they're playing great hockey. They're playing meaningful hockey. Every game seems like it matters a little bit. What's up, Gregory? And we have a lot to break down in this stream. So they play 4 times a week, basically, for the rest of the month. So you'll be seeing a lot of Darius and I. So welcome to the first one. And it's the start of a very big month. What's up, Jose? What's up, Koser? And big month of December. So let's starting it off very right.
Huge month coming up here for the Leafs. Obviously 15 games this month, and they play 4 games a week for the next 4 weeks in a row. So it's going to be very busy. And they started it off on the right foot, obviously. I kind of expected them. We talked about it in our video this morning. Like, I expected them to win this game, but I think in years past, they lose this game. So I think that was a really good thing. I think these Leafs are starting to show us that they're a little bit different. I think Berube has done something to this team, and besides the one goal tonight, I thought they played really well defensively again. They have all season. So he's done something to this team here. And it's not just him. I mean, the supporting cast as well. William Lambert, what he's done with the penalty kill, and obviously Mike Van Ryn was here last year too. So everything's rolling right now. They have a lot of injuries. They continue to win. It was against a pretty terrible team, literally last place in the NHL, but pretty good. Great win, and keeps the spirits high going into December.
Yeah, and first period, we'll dive into the whole game. First period, they came out really electric, and then towards the second half of that first period, and really the second half of the game, it seemed like the Blackhawks were out playing a little bit. Yeah, Jose, hopefully you get a membership. We're at 84 now. We're at 84 members, so I think once we hit 100, so 16 away, I think we unlock some more emotes. I know Darius has been working on that behind the scenes as well. So
yeah, we have 2 new ones as of Saturday.
So the more members we get, the more we unlock it. And again, with membership, you get all these. Someone asked, "What do you get with memberships?" Priorities of call-ins, which are happening by the end of this week. You have emotes. You have some other things as well. You can an icon extra chat. What's up, Marshall? Jose does deserve it. I agree. It was a very nice game, and we'll get the impact charts as per usual once they come out here. But there's a lot of things going on right now. And you look at the game today, and obviously you think about Matthew Nyes, he got the empty net goal, but Fraser Minten, phenomenal game from him. Nick Robertson played well as well. He almost got a couple goals there. I mean, Philip Myers was shooting the puck every single time he got a chance to, which was very interesting as well. Shane, I don't think it did. I didn't see anything come up about it, but you can double check. And Philip Myers with an assist with 4 shots, by the way, which is an interesting one.
He had a good game. He had a really good game.
There's just a lot of things to take away from this game. We saw Austin Matthews start the game with a goal early. I mean, William Nylander came to play as well. Mitch Marner with a weird moment at the end of the game on a breakaway, just decides to pass it back. Obviously didn't realize that the Blackhawks defender was there, but phenomenal start. Myers had a good offensive game. A bit shaky at times on defense, but what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Philly Meyer, I thought he had a good game. Like, especially offensively, I wasn't familiar with his game that way. Like, I thought he was more of just a defensive player, or at least he turned into that once he turned pro, I think, instead of and a physical player instead of an offensive player. But he was showing it tonight. He was shooting everything that came his way, and he looked a little scrambly on defense at times. But I think he's played maybe 1-2 games this year, so I wouldn't put too much into that. And he's kind of a filler right now, obviously, as they wait for McCabe to come back. He's not supposed to be in the lineup if everyone's healthy, right? So I thought he played all right, and I have to give a big shout out to Connor Timmins. I mean, at this point, we're 23 games into the season, I believe. He's changed my mind. This is a really good player. This is a great player. He makes very minimal mistakes. He's pretty clean with his breakouts. He's patient with the puck. I think this is a really good player, honestly, and I'm starting to see what Berube saw in him from the beginning, and I think a lot of it has to do with his injury history and his injury trouble when the Leafs got him, and then they didn't really give him a shot, and then obviously you see a little bit of him mid-season instead of starting in training camp. So this was like a couple seasons ago anyway. So I have to say, like, Connor Timmins has been playing really well. I have to give him some love because you mentioned him the last couple streams where you're like, hey, he's playing pretty well. And I'm like, yeah, like he's there. But he was pretty noticeable tonight again. And nothing egregious. Everything's pretty simple with him, and he's trying to play physical, and I think he's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's been very good and has bought into the Craig Berube system there. What's up, Paul? Blake saying my last member if I could find it. It did work that time. Blake, there should be
Here
a
it is.
join button right next to the subscribe button. As Eric Martin gets a membership, Joey gets a membership, John, Cards, Kevin, and that's 5. Shout out to everybody who got a membership. Everyone, thanks Shane. We're up to 89 now, so 11 away from the 100 with more emotes. So again, if you're in the chat, Jose unfortunately didn't get it again. I think
I was talking about it last stream, Nick. I know you weren't here, but I was like, Jose at this point must have a setting on that I don't know actually exists, but he must have a setting on at this point.
or is
Because
unlucky.
the odds of it are, I don't know, man. The odds are incredible, but
Thank you
Robert,
so much, Shane, again for the 5 members. Tons of new
thank you,
emotes
Shane.
coming, so make sure to check that as well.
Yep.
Robert saying Gurbenkin, whoever you say it, played really well. Starting to like this. Whoops, little bit of music there. Starting to like this kid a lot. Yeah, he had a really good game. He's using his physical nature of his play. Yeah, we'll dive into Alex Nylander as well.
Oh, we'll get into
But
everyone here.
Gurbenkin looked very good. I'm very curious to see this impact chart. As Shane gives
Shane
another
again.
5. I'm hoping here. Combo, Jeff, Michael, Exotic, and Acton Sus. There's
I
setting
think
where
I
you
have.
being able to. Things are going okay. Things are going crazy. Everyone, thanks Shane as we get super chats both. Let's give
Shane.
some love to my boy Nice. Was like an old school power forward. Goes to the net hard and continues to improve daily. Wow. Shane, thank you so much for the other 5 gifted. It means a lot. And everyone, thank Shane if you got it.
Yep.
Jim, as per usual, thank you so much. I agree with Matthew Nice. He even got a little goal to pad his stats at the end. But and maybe Jose has the setting on there. There might be a setting for it.
I'm sure we're gonna find out one way or another, but the odds are crazy. Gurbankin, to get back to him real quick, I thought he was pretty good in a 4th line role. He's a little bit fast. He gives that energy shift. I think that's fine. I don't think he's gonna stick with the team when everyone comes back from injury, but he's been pretty good. Alex Nylander, we can get into later, right? He's not, I don't know, he's not performing that well, but I don't know what everyone kind of expected out of him because he is what he is at this point, right? He's not going to get any better. I mean, he is 26 years old, I think, at this point, or 25 years old. So he's not going to get much better, but nice, improving every day. Absolutely. And again, I keep saying it. Last season, I didn't think he could hang with the big boys. I didn't think he could play top line minutes. And this year, he's proven well, I wouldn't say everyone wrong. I think a lot of people were high on him, but some people wrong.
As Jim gifts 5. Will Jose get it? Russell, Coloring, Bob, Derek, Kinetic. Unfortunately,
I think that's it. I have more. I'm watching this with the intensity of a Leafs playoff game every time somebody gives subs to see if Jose gets one.
Well,
honestly.
Jose, still no luck for you. However, if you're in the chat, again, thank Jim, thank Shane for the gifted membership if you receive one. We'll have new emotes for hopefully next stream or after that. So a lot more emotes coming again. Well, at the end of the stream, per usual, we'll go over a bunch of emotes. Jim, like per usual, thank you very much for your continued generosity, and of course everyone else as well. Going back to Nas, yeah, I mean he can play top line minutes. Was very impactful. As I think Darius had a rare lag out, so we're gonna it'll just be me for a second here. I think Darius has a rare lag out, so we're gonna rock solo until Darius comes back. Maybe his internet went down. Hopefully he'll be good. Do you have that, Jim? Yeah, Jim is an absolute legend. This is I think this is the first time Darius has ever lagged out. So you get just me for a minute. Hopefully we can get Darius back in here. We will see. I think he's joining back. I believe he crashed, so we'll get him back in. How do you gift? Shane or Jim, they might be able to tell you. I think when you hit join, there might be a gift option. I'm not entirely sure. Shane or Jim, if you want to go ahead and help on that as Darius returns. Darius is back in action. Welcome back, Darius.
Sometimes technology does not care who you are or what you're doing. I'll tell you that. But we're back.
He's back. Jim, he's all good. But Matthew Nyes can play top line minutes. It is very possible. As well as Pontus Holmberg, he had a very interesting game. Gurbankin, and he only played 9 minutes, and he looked like Robert said. Thank you again, Robert. He, I don't know. There's so many players who played well, and I want to get into Fraser Minten for a second here because I'm very curious again with this impact chart. I how'd you find Fraser Minten? He has looked very good. He now has, I believe, what, 4 points in 5 games, and 2 of those
Yep.
were goals.
Goals. Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe he's coming for David Camp or someone like that. It's one of their spots.
Here's the thing with Fraser Minten. I think he's playing really well, and he's outscoring some of the Leafs' bottom six when they're healthy. He is. And the only thing for me is he needs to go down and develop still in the Marlies. I'm very hesitant. And I think Brad Treliving said that. And I don't think he's going to play his way. Like, he would have to play at an unbelievable clip to play his way out of that to continue with the team. But game by game, he's looking more comfortable. I thought he played really well physically tonight, like very underrated because he got the goal and everyone was kind of talking about him and his points. But he was throwing the body around. He was really good on the board. So he's doing, the small things better and better every day. And I think that's really good. But I think he's still going to go down to the Marlies and get another year in, develop, and really become a good player, right? Just take your time with him. Put him in situations that make him uncomfortable and see how he reacts there. Don't kind of, leave him on the team and sometimes he'll play. Because when everyone's healthy, we tend to forget at this point in time. When everyone's back and healthy, like, I don't know where he's going to slot into this team, right? You can't take Max Domi out of the lineup. So when everyone's healthy, and same with Pacioretty. So he's looking good. But again, I think when the time is right, when everyone's back, he's going to go down to the Marlies and develop. But that's not to say he's not playing well or he's not a good player. He's going to be fine. And he just needs to get more experience at the pro level. But he's looking more comfortable day by day. And I think that's encouraging because he could look like last year where it's kind of like, oh, this guy's out of place, right? He looks out of place, but he looks pretty good this year.
Yeah. I Stolarz, yeah, I'll get him as well.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'm seeing some discourse about David Camp about how he I don't think he's going to get his job taken. He's playing really well, but Fraser Minten has been more productive on the offensive side of things, although David Camp provides a bit more, in theory, defense. And of course,
David Camp is very good on the
Yeah.
penalty kill and defensively. He is.
So it depends what they're looking for. What's up, JM? Olaf from Peru. Yeah, shout out to Peru. That's it's a ways away. Is the impact chart out yet? I'm extremely curious about this.
It is. I think I did send it over to you.
We'll have a look. Oh, I do have it. Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's look at the impact chart now.
Yep.
Before I look at it, because I haven't looked at it yet, leave in the chat your guesses of who's the top 3 on the impact chart. I'm gonna try to.
Certainly not who you think it is. I'll say that. It's interesting today.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can guess what the top 3 are. Not necessarily in order. My top 3 would probably. I feel like. I actually have no idea. I feel like Mitch Marner had a good game. I'm just gonna go ahead and look. I feel like it's like Nylander or something like that. Mitch Marner, I had it right. I had it
Mitch
right
Marner,
with number
yeah,
1.
yeah.
Mitch Marner 1, Pontus Holmberg 2, and Steven Lorentz 3. And honestly, not a great game for the Leafs when you look at it on this front. Jose, thank you so much for the $2, the silent $2 with no message. Let us know if you have a question or anything like that. But thank you again, Jose. I'll play the animation.
Let's get the Super Matthews up from.
Super Matthews is.
He scored tonight.
He did
Thank you,
score.
Jose.
So that's interesting. Thanks again, Jose. Yeah. Mitch Marner was by far the best player on the ice. And then Pontus Holmberg, who I didn't mention, he did have a good game. Like, he was noticeably good out there. Philip Myers with a solid game. Nikita Grabenkin with a rough game according to the stats. I think he still looked solid. Interesting. Stolarz, of course, would be number 1.
Yep.
Fraser Minten had a great game. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Alex Nylander with a horrible game again.
He didn't have much of an impact tonight. He really didn't. Especially offensively, there was not much there. He had a couple moments where you're like, oh, okay. Like, he was deking guys out and then he would dump the puck in, but there's no impact there, right? So he had his moments. But yeah, I think that whole line, Steven Lorentz up there, he played a really good game as well. But that whole line, like what Tavares is doing at his age is pretty incredible. Like, this guy's going to score 90 plus points this year, which is crazy. Because we were all projecting him to, I can't remember what he finished with last year off the top of my head. I think it was 65. Yeah. So I knew it was in the 60s somewhere. He's going to get 90 something points this year. Like, he's unbelievable. And doing it at this age, a lot of people were questioning if he could play center still. I was questioning if he could play center still, but he's showing that absolutely, yes, he can take the draws. He's great. Foot speed has always been an issue with John Tavares, and he's putting up the points. So, and he's great defensively as well. So he's having another really, really good season, and maybe it has something to do with playing with Mitch Marner again. Mitch Marner's having a great season too, but if they continue this, that contract may not look like what we thought it was going to look like, but we'll see. I know it's going to be a short contract, but we can talk about that in the future.
Yeah,
but he's been playing great.
Talking about getting him, pricing himself out of Toronto. I think he's going to retire in Maple Leaf. Leafs just had to pay a little bit more than the original 2 to 3 to 4 million they were looking at. So it is intriguing. Jose, I looked it up. Someone gets membership. Clicking the icon when it's pinned to the chat, it should say allow gifts. So maybe, Jose, you might have to enable it after all. So Blake, shout out to you. So Jose, if you're in here, make sure that's enabled.
Shout out Blake for doing the research there. I love this community. That's fantastic. Thank you for the help, guys. That's awesome. I didn't even know. I'm just assuming it's a setting because the odds of that happening are crazy.
Jim with the 5. Robertson gave up the puck when he absolutely bailed on a hit the third. Ineffective, must go. I haven't made the animation yet. That guy hasn't made it yet for the, of course, Ben hasn't made it for the animation with Nick Robertson leaving. But Darius, what are your thoughts on Nick Robertson? I think he looked okay. He had a couple good chances, couple bad plays. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't impress me that much. He did score, though. He did score the one game I wasn't fully watching. He did score the one game I wasn't fully watching. As Robert Bett comes in with the 10. Have you heard about Oliver Phillips that Area Otters picked up in the first round of the U18 draft? 10th overall, 6'7", 207 pounds, only 16 years old. Whole new meaning to power forward. Jim, thank you so much for the donation. Robert, thank you so much for... I keep hitting that. I'm going to remove that. Thank you so much for the donation, Robert. You guys are absolute legends. And yeah, if you like the music, I keep playing this game. So shout out to all the music there. Yeah, thoughts on that, Darius? On Oliver Phillips? I
watched quite a bit of the OHL, actually, and he's an interesting story. And it's ever since, I think, Anthony Cirelli happened in the OHL, because he was kind of... passed over, never really thought about it in the OHL draft. And then he was like kind of a walk-on tryout in Oshawa Generals camp, made the team, scores the Memorial Cup winning goal, all this stuff. And obviously is in the NHL with the Tampa Bay Lightning right now and has won a Stanley Cup. So ever since that happened, the OHL kind of opened its doors to an under 18 draft. So he obviously fell through the cracks again of the original draft. Excuse me, got taken in this draft, and he's making a good impact. I mean, Erie's a middle of the pack team, but this guy is going to be, I think there's a future here possibly in the NHL just because of his size. Like if he puts everything together, that's a scary player. So it's pretty interesting. It's the OHL giving guys like this a second shot. So I don't know. One day he could, we might see him in the NHL, or maybe, not in a draft, but he could be signed as a free agent. Maybe the Leafs take a look at that as well, right? So
could be very interesting. Thank you again for the donations there. Yeah. Something to keep an eye on. He's very, very young, very, very young. Also, an interesting player to talk about. But yeah, John Tavares, insane. He is going to get paid a lot of money probably, and it's going to be by the Leafs. However, he's also part of the reason why the Leafs, what they go 8-4 in November, something of that nature. A very good.
It was actually better than that. I don't have the exact record, but it was quite good.
I'm gonna fact check that. I think I saw it in the chat. Someone said 8.
They also didn't play much in November.
And I'm gonna do it up right now. I'm gonna count. I am going to count. Yeah, they only had they lost, and that's including the fact they lost the first 2 games to start the month. So 3-2, 3-3, 4-3.
Those were not great games. I believe that was Joseph Wool's first 2 games.
It was 8-4. 8-4 in the month of 8-4 in the month of November. So 12 games in 31 days, 30 days, whatever, however many days.
And we were talking about goaltending before, and obviously Stolarz was great in this game. But Joseph Woll, you mentioned those 2 losses. We'll get to that in a second.
Whoa, a huge donation from Duster Buster. There is a new sheriff in town, Jim C. What a great name for one. Duster Buster 88. Thank you so much for the $27.99.
Duster, welcome in. I haven't seen that username before, so
I've seen it a couple times, but yeah, he also, I'll read your message from before. Johnny T should be in the Team Canada conversation. It's an interesting.
At this point, yeah, it's possible he can win faceoffs. He's pretty decent defensively. I think a lot of people are thinking about Team Canada and they're like, put the best 23 players Canada has on the team, but it doesn't work like that. They're going to need guys who can play certain. Yeah, they're going to need guys who can play certain roles. So I think Tavares is going to get a look. I know Marner's probably going to make that team the way he's playing. So I think Tavares could get a look, man. He's playing really well.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Duster Buster, huge donation. Thank you. It's very much appreciated. It means a lot. And yeah, John Tavares is probably going to be in the conversation. I think would be depending how he keeps playing. I'm hoping now that he can continue to sustain John Tavares, it is what is going on right now. And I just saw a tweet here. Minten now has 2 fewer points than Domi on the season and more goals than Max Holmberg, Kemp, Dewar, and Reeves combined. So maybe he is ready. Maybe he is almost ready. Thank you again, Duster, for that.
There's a world he can play himself onto the team and they'll make space for him, but I do think that they want him to develop still on the Marlies with all situations play. But he's been good. And I mean, with Max Domi there, Max Domi's been playing injured, I think. Like, we'll give him a fair shake when he gets back from his injury and he's 100%. I would chalk it up to him being injured, but we'll see how he plays when he gets back. But Midden's been impressive. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it is points too that we're looking at. So we'll see.
5 mil Tavares on a 6-year deal. Ooh, 6 years.
That is tough. I think Tavares is going to make somewhere in the 4 to 6, which will be a great, like, this guy's getting you 90 points this year. That's fantastic. If you can get 90 points out of a second line center for $6 million, that's pretty good. So, and he's made some good money over his career. So he'll be fine, I think, if he wants to retire or leave.
Thanks for
He'll still
tuning
play
in.
that role.
Thanks for tuning in, Caleb. Yeah, that tweet does hurts a little bit, especially with the way that, I mean, they'll probably send down Fraser. I mean, Brad Domingues said they wanted to do that when he first got called up, but I'm kidding, Jim. You're still the GOAT. You can both be GOATs. We can have multiple GOATs. Jim has been a big supporter, though. Yeah, the last 2 on Robidas Island, probably. If
The
that's
whole
the
defensive core is going to be on Robida Island the next 2 years. Could happen, but yeah, I think the interesting thing about Team Canada is obviously they have a GM and like management and everything like that. They're going to select the team, but I think that the coach has a lot to do with it too. And I know John Cooper really likes some of the Leafs players. He likes Morgan Riley, really likes Mitch Marner. I don't know how he feels about John Tavares, but John Tavares is having a great season, so could be an option for them up the middle. If John Tavares isn't going to play center on Team Canada, I don't see him on Team Canada. But I think it's very interesting this year. He's playing really, really well and scored again today. It was a smart play.
Jim C is the sheriff. All want shout out to Robert, $50. He has supported me crazy tonight. Jim has been he has been killing it. He has been.
I'll name Jim the sheriff of this community here. I would say that's fair.
Likes are at 20. Yeah, let's try to get to 50 likes like usual. Let's try to hit our goal of 50. We're at 26. Numbers going up is a fun thing to do. So we can.
Everyone likes to see it.
Yeah, I think Stolar's got the belt as well. I believe I read that in the chat there.
Makes sense.
Absolutely deserved. He was. We can talk about him now for a minute. The Leafs goaltending continues to be the best in the NHL. And a phenomenal game from Stolarz. .964 save percentage coming off of a great game from Joseph Woll. I mean, the team is very complete, I think, at this point. They still can add some things. Also, Connor Bedard didn't get a shot on goal, which is even a crazier stat. Defense looked very solid. Very interesting.
They were also upping their, sorry to cut you off, but they were upping their physicality because I noticed Chicago taking over the game that way, and you could tell the refs weren't going to call the minor things. So I like how they ended up upping their physicality a little bit. I don't think they ever matched Chicago, but which is a problem. But I think that they did try to up it, which I think is good because in years past, they'll just kind of go into a shell and then maybe lose that game. So I think that's fine. Somebody also blew up Taylor Hall on one play. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Benoit.
You said Benoit. I can't remember who
was it Benoit? Yeah.
Somebody talking about absolutely early in the game?
Yeah, there was a huge hit. I'm not sure if that was the one I was talking about, though, because there was a couple of big hits, but I think it was Benoit that blew up Taylor Hall. It was a big hit. Oh, it was Connor Dewar, actually. It was Connor Dewar that hit.
Benoit had another big hit.
Benoit had another big hit on a zone entry, and then Dewar was forechecking. He got hit by Taylor Hall. Then he absolutely destroyed Taylor Hall. So I loved it. Yeah, it was Dewar. Yeah. So that was a nice play. He got one back on him.
Yeah, I mean, Connor Dewar had an okay game. He's only playing 8 minutes, and the minutes were very scarce tonight for a few of the guys, including, of course, Alex Nylander. You look at Connor Dewar, like a pretty rough advanced analytics game. Maybe he's the guy that goes out in favor of Fraser Minten or something like that, albeit he's obviously not a primary center. So there's going to be a lot of moves having to come at some point soon once everybody is healthy, but it scares me a little bit. Like Domi's obviously going to play, sign a 3-year deal. The team is playing so well right now. I'm happy Craig Berube stuck that. The way he's managing the lines after Matthews coming back has been great, and they've won 2 in a row. They obviously had that blip, like you mentioned, Nick. Yeah, it was a blip. I mean, the Florida one was pretty rough. It was, I think that was just bound to happen, and especially with a lack of games too, and they don't have to worry about that anymore because they play we'll go over the schedule before we wrap up, but like a
It is a
ton,
lot. It is a
ridiculous
lot.
amount, and
Yeah.
it is December, so it's it's an interesting time. Yeah, Dewar and Benoit definitely laid out hits. What's up, Scooby Doo?
Scooby Doo's back. I haven't seen Scooby Doo in a while. Welcome back, Scooby Doo. Yeah, it's a busy month. So, and I mean, Mitch Marner is already at 33 points. He's probably going to hit 100 if he continues at this level. So, that's something to keep an eye on too, which it didn't look like at the start of the year, but he's up display a lot. He looks really good. He's playing well defensively. Also, the Leafs stats defensively, like everything from slot shots to high danger opportunities, they were maybe 27th, 28th in the league. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but last year they were horrific, like bottom 5 in the league. And this year they're second, third in these categories, right? So huge change this year. And I mean, the guy in charge of it, for the most part, 5-on-5 at least, is Mike Van Ryn. He was here last year. So I feel like it's a Berube like philosophy thing that's really changed. So a lot of these statistics are way better, like miles better. Bottom 5 last year, top 5 this year. You can't deny it. Like there's a definite change, I think, in like mindset, because it's not just the defensive strategies.
Shift in culture. Tanner, Mitch Marner's ice time was 21 minutes and 41 seconds as Jim comes in. I accept your nomination. Shout out to Jim again for the support. We, like usual, we appreciate it a ton. Yeah, I mean, thanks again for your donation there.
We have a chief in Leafs Nation. He's behind the bench, but now we have a
yes,
sheriff
we
here.
do. That is true.
We have a chief, but we have a sheriff as well now. So
Jim Chief emote. And Blake, welcome back to welcome
back.
becoming a member. I think you were our 100th member, I believe. If it I don't know if that technically counts as a new member, because I'm not sure but I know we're one member off 100. So that'll be interesting. I think we unlocked some more stuff there. So shout out to you, Blake, for becoming a member, and also Jim, of course, thank you for your donation. We're one member off 100, so that's a big one. 100 members. Goal is like 250. I want to get back. I want to get up to there where we have even more emotes.
Welcome back, Blake. I did notice earlier that you were no longer a member, but now you're back. I appreciate that. But interesting question from Joshua here. Scooby Doo, where are you? Nick, any thoughts on Scooby Doo? Where are you? I thought that's good. Love that. Scooby Doo, welcome back to the chat. But
Favorite stadium.
Favorite stadium food. I think that's interesting too.
Oh well, Shane.
It's the Blue Jays hot dogs, by the way. It's
they're
the Looney dogs.
Real Dead, Brandon, Dan, Andrew, and Scott. Shout out to all of you guys. Now, Shane, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. We just hit 100 members, which is crazy to think about. So we appreciate that. New emotes coming. So stay till the end of the stream. We'll ask you for some emote input for Darius there to make those. But wow, 100 members. Big day. Big day for
Thank you, everyone. This is a big milestone. This is awesome. And we get new emotes, as you alluded to. So I'll be working on those as well. I'll try to bring some new ones to the table. I added a couple fun ones on Saturday. We have the brick wall, and we also have RoboCop, which I don't know how long we're going to be able to use.
I was going to say, gee.
On account of he may be traded at some point, but we'll see. Maybe we'll shake it up. I want to get a nice one in there. I think there's a couple of cool ones. Yeah.
Maybe some trade deadline ones as well. I think we have Chef Strobing already in there. So much green in the chat. It's giving me Christmas vibes. It is. And Christmas, you'll see some stuff in my background. You'll see some stuff around the, I'm going to start implementing some Christmas themed things into the December streams as we get closer. You might see some Christmas lights above me. I always like to get into it keeps the energy high. I know, I don't know. I love this time of year, even though it gets dark at 4:30. You'll see some Christmas vibes. I might even get a Christmas tree behind me, a mini one to put down. So keep the Christmas, because we're going to be streaming 4 times a week, basically. So
we'll be here comfortable. Yeah. So, I think some decorations might be in order as well in my background.
Spice up your background a little bit.
Yeah, it's got to be, because it tis the season. So we got
holidays. Put some Christmas lights around everything. Yeah. Keep an eye on the Ducks. How much challenge have witnessed the Leafs' latest Stanley Cup? Not me.
Latest? You mean the last one?
Yeah, I guess the last.
1967. I am curious about that, actually. How many of you in here right now were alive when the Leafs last won their Stanley Cup? Because I was not. So,
do you have a Facebook group? I don't think so, actually.
We don't. We're working on a few things behind the scenes that could be ready maybe in the new year. I would say I'll
Keep an
tease
eye out.
that, but we're working on some things to kind of get the community together, and everyone can kind of have a hub to go to.
Petrano would look good in blue. That's a good point.
Joshua's been on that for a month now, I think.
Yeah,
So it could happen. Vetrano's on his way out of Anaheim. I know that, but I
I
don't
think
know
if a
till where
Toronto for
yet.
Robertson type package would be very interesting. Though I'm not entirely sure the Ducks. There'd have to be some other things added, no doubt about it. Yeah, a lot of things coming for. I would like to. It doesn't have to be Facebook necessarily, but like group chat to where with us in it, where you guys. I mean, there is the Discord, which we're active in at
Yep.
times. So if you in the description, there should be a link to the Discord, and then there's a Leafs Digest section. But we're gonna work on something going up regarding getting in closer touch with you. Maybe even a Leafs Digest Fantasy Hockey League next season is something that could get on the go
That
there.
is something I was trying, like I thought would be cool this season to do, but obviously now we have a lot more members, and I think people would really be into that. So I would love to do that next season. Obviously, you can't do it this year, but next season that's something that we could do probably with members, or we can talk about it. There could be a couple,
Couple
right? But
leagues.
yeah, so we'll get into that when the time comes. Probably next season. That's something we're looking forward to as well. But we want to create something like a hub for the community. Everyone can kind of talk about the Leafs, give their thoughts. And then obviously we can all reconvene here after a game.
Leafs second in the league for goals against per game at 2.5 goals against average. Never saw this in my lifetime. Yeah, I mean, it's very rare we have to see two elite goalies, I mean, of this caliber. And
Yep.
again, still early on. It's not that early anymore, but still fairly early on. Stolarz, Wall, both have been great. And it's why the Leafs are 15-7-2, which is a record that is top of the Atlantic, I believe, at the time of this stream. And they have one game in hand on the Florida Panthers. So they're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty comfortable now in the Atlantic.
I wouldn't get too comfortable if I was them. I think you need that first place spot. You don't want to end up playing bot. The standings are weird. I think the Atlantic Division is actually worse than people think. Uh, Not worse, but I feel like there's a lot more parity in that division than other divisions. In terms of like not every team is elite. I think it's just
Yeah.
the Leafs and the Florida Panthers at this point. But like you don't want to get stuck in the second spot and then something happens to Tampa where they fall off a cliff and then you're playing Boston again. Like you don't want that. So get that first wild card spot. Maybe you'll play the New York Rangers, who are very disappointed right now and somehow still in a playoff spot. But yeah, I think that's interesting. Maybe you can make a trade with the New York Rangers too. There's a fire sale about to happen there, or so it seems. So there could be maybe a Leafs and Rangers trade as well, different divisions. Be
Yeah,
interesting.
a lot of rumors going to go down as deadline approaches in March, I believe. Can we talk about the bounce back game for Stolarz? Yeah, he was coming off his
Yes.
worst game as a Leaf. Um, Phenomenal. There was times where I thought goals were going to go in. They didn't. I was hoping for the shutout there. That's twice now I was hoping for shutouts, the Wall one, and then of course the Stolarz one, back-to-back games. But phenomenal game for Stolarz. I think you go out, you try to win the division. And I think Stolarz is going to be. I still think he's the 1A right now, but I think it's slowly becoming more of a split.
Definitely more of a split at this point. I thought Stolarz was running away with it earlier in the season, but the last couple of games from Joseph Wall, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I forgot the ability's there. It's just his availability is really the question. And he's been there. He's been able to play. So I think they're going to continue to do what they're doing. And they're both going to get a lot of work this month, right? Like I could see Wall getting Wednesday, Stolarz getting Friday, Wall getting Saturday again. We'll get back into it.
Shout out to Robert. I was 1 years old when they got the cup. Shout out to you, Robert. You side. Well, I mean, I don't know how much of it you remember, but you were alive for it. You were present for the cup. Shout out to you, Robert. And yeah, I mean that's interesting. I mean, hopefully we all see one. Wouldn't it be great if we all see one this year and then we all get to witness it? I can't even imagine. Playoff hockey is going to be crazy, but we're still a few months, several months away from that. But I don't know. The regular season games seem to still like matter a lot. Like they're in a tight race for the Atlantic. Do you guys know how many
Mhm.
penalties Matthew had last year? I think he's like tied for last year. He has
I believe it was two last year. Yeah. Yeah, two penalties.
a bit more physical.
Minor penalties. Two minor penalties, I
Bit more
believe.
physical this year. Bit more
Yep.
physical.
Although his penalty tonight was like, come on, man.
So was John
You know?
Tavares to a degree as well. He's
There's a
weird one.
couple penalties the last two games where I'm like,
And a bad icing, and
are we
maybe even a
serious?
debatable at the end with Nye's goal. I know that.
I know, yeah, yeah, that was odd officiating. It was like okay for a little while after the season started. You didn't really notice the officials in the last couple of games. You're like, really, like this is what we're doing? But I don't know. It's very odd. That penalty on OEL last game, I can't get over that still. It was brutal. And then the one on Matthews today,
It is true, Jim.
it's
Let's
not
win the
good.
conference. I'm
Absolutely.
in on winning the conference. That's what I'm in on winning the Stanley Cup, and I think that they're gonna do it. No, maybe, maybe we'll have our mid-season grade stream as well. I'm sure throughout the All-Star break because there's a couple weeks there where they barely play, so we'll be
Yeah.
going live at least once or twice a week, just kind of
It's
going over
the Four Nations break. Did you say All-Star?
both. I mean, there's like kind of
It's
2 weeks back to back. Yeah,
There is 2 weeks.
Four
Well, they
Nations
have a
Cup
bye week and
table
then they have Four Nations
yeah
or something back to back. I don't know who scheduled that, but
makes no sense. But I mean,
2 weeks off.
we'll be somewhere in there. We'll be in there somewhere. Josh Love is. Nick Robertson and Philip Myers for Frank Vetrano and a third. I can get behind that.
I could too. I think they really like Philippe Myers though. But I think if you're getting Frank Vetrano, for Nick Robertson, that's a huge upgrade. Frank Vetrano will score you
Yeah, way
goals,
way better.
and
I
he's
can
better
see why they
defensively.
like Philip Myers. Actually, he shows a little bit of promise. He's not afraid. He shoots the puck a lot. He almost had a goal. It was
Yes,
at
he has
multiple
some jam.
times.
He has some jam. That guy. I like the way he plays. I do. He was a little scrambly in the defensive zone, but again, he's only played twice, so I think
Riley
that's
for
fine.
true, but I don't know what that. We want the Stanley Cup. Bring my deals. Still gonna win the cup. I'm sending 100. Blake. I hope. I mean, I hope they win the cup anyways. Are you guys gonna make a video about the Four Nations roster? Honestly, probably not a video, but we'll do a stream or something around that.
Yeah,
It
we'll
might be a
do.
topic in a video or something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna cover it because there's like a couple Leafs are gonna be picked. So we're definitely gonna cover it. I think it's this week, honestly. I think it might be Friday or Saturday they're picking them. I could be
Yes,
mistaken.
it'll
But I
be
think there's a
in a
roster.
video. It'll be in
Yes.
a video. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like the main thing of a video, but it's definitely gonna be a part of one. So just
Yeah.
make sure you stay tuned for that. At this point, I would take a coupon at Denny's. Denny's is not bad though. Denny's is not bad.
Denny's is not bad.
Vetrano will get a first for a team this year. Maybe. Like probably.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, no, he's a
Yeah,
great
like
player.
comparing to last year, you think about players who got firsts. I'm trying to think of the deadline who got first. Sean Monahan got a first in the Winnipeg
Sean
Jets.
Monahan. I think Frank Vetrano is a bigger difference maker than Sean Monahan.
You could argue
So,
that as well. Monahan had a really good
oh, I know he did.
first
He's a
half.
fantastic player. Yeah, he's a
6 goals,
fantastic
6
player.
assists in 12 games. Interesting. What's
Who's
the Leafs'
this?
biggest need? Third line center,
Third line center, 100%.
which I
Yeah,
think they're going to
well,
get
it's a-
done. I think that's the addition they make. Third line center, and that's it, really. I think it's probably one or two, maybe a depth guy, but even then. Or they go all in, which is not a Brad Treliving thing to do, but it is possible. It all in the sense of, they go for one of the bigger guys, like in this case of Frank Vetrano.
Mhm.
Someone of that. Yeah, Sean Monahan's having a great year, too. Holy.
Trocheck makes 5.6 million, which is not terrible. I just don't know where you'd find that for the Leafs. But
Make it
I
work.
think you can make it work if you want to make it work. But it also depends what the Rangers are feeling and what they want in return because they want to kind of blow it up in a way, but they want competitive players back. They don't want draft picks. Like they don't want to rebuild at this point. But I think it's interesting. I think the Leafs, like you alluded to, they need a center. It's a third line center because Tavares is playing great still. He can play second line center. Like he's put that to bed, I think, a little bit. And they'll need a third line center. And that's it. Brad Treliving does not like to build his team at the trade deadline. He likes to build his team in the offseason. He likes to ride out the season with them, see what, hole there is or two holes, whatever they need at the trade deadline. And then he'll go out and get like a really low budget effective player in that role and then just ride it out.
I want the Stanley and the World Cup facility. I don't want anywhere near TO if that happens. Traffic would
Yeah.
be even worse than usual. I would love it though. I would. I don't know. I have a very good feeling. A really good feeling about this season. Wednesday they're picking. Okay, so Wednesday they play Wednesday. We'll have something probably on there if it comes out.
I did see a TikTok last year when the Leafs were in the playoffs. I'll bring this up, and I don't know. I just like this. I thought it's fun. But the guy was saying that he went to a psychic and he was talking to the psychic, and the psychic was like, "Hey, my favorite sports team, are they gonna win?" And the psychic was like, "Not this year. They're gonna get embarrassed in the first round again." Essentially, and he was like, "That sucks." And that ended up happening, but the psychic said that team ends up winning the championship the next year. So he was like, "Oh, fantastic!"
Well,
And he was talking about the Leafs. So I'm not gonna hang on to that, but I thought that was a funny TikTok. I thought that was an interesting story.
I could be a psychic predicting that the Leafs get blown out in the first round.
I think that if a psychic said that to me, I'd be like, really, man? Like, what am I paying for?
You're
You know what I
paying.
mean?
I could
Like,
have told you could have paid me. I would give you a
yeah,
free Zoom consultation about
exactly.
Zoom call. But
The
yeah, I mean,
Leafs are
it's.
gonna lose in the first round. $50, please.
I do think they're gonna win. Not the cup necessarily. I think they're gonna go far though. I think this is the most optimistic I felt based on play style, new coach, and all that. So
For
I mean,
sure.
they're showing it. They're showing some version of it now, and hopefully they can continue. This may be a big month for them, though. If they can really separate in the Atlantic Division, they can separate. Maybe go for again. What matters is really just your seeding, and hopefully the Leafs can get there and
Yeah.
win the Atlantic, put themselves in the best possible position. That was live on TSN 1050 First Up Radio Show. Interesting. So someone called in, I guess.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I did. I
Probably
guess
what
it was the
happened.
guy that maybe he called in as
Someone
the
called
same
into the
guy.
radio
Yeah.
show.
It
Someone
was.
clipped it, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Darius, don't get my hopes up. I mean, if you know,
Hey, I'm just
actually,
delivering the
Darius is the
message.
psychic who.
I just, the guy called me. I told him that, and then he was like, "I'm gonna go on the radio and talk about this."
Do you guys see the TikToks about all the curses coming back for the Leafs to win the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, there was a couple of those. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but there's a lot of curses kind
There's
of
some
being undone.
external we got the psychics called
It's
in here
like-
to help
it's
the
like-
psychic. I mean, listen, if that's what it takes, I'd spend $50 at a psychic to win to get the Leafs Cup win.
if that's what it if that's what it takes and it works for sure.
You're playing so well.
The
Also,
Yep,
we are very close to 50 likes. We're 12 away. So if you're in here, let's try to get to 50. It's always the goal
yep.
we strive for.
Also, yes, the Walter Cup is the
Women's division.
championship for the PWHL. Yeah, which just started last year.
I still feel like it's gonna be electric this year. At the playoffs. Honestly, last year's playoffs, as brutal as they were, entertaining. I mean, they were down 3-1. You come back. There was so much craziness going on. Entertaining in the sense of, I guess, from our perspective, news. There was a lot of news going on with, think about the Joseph Wall injury, the Nylander migraines. I believe it was Nylander migraines. There was
Nylander migraines.
so much
Matthews
stuff
was
going on.
sick. Yeah.
I think if all things were equal, the Leafs would have won that series pretty easily. I also think that they, like Joseph Wall getting hurt, there was so much. I think the Leafs are ready to bounce back. Like they're taking these games very seriously this year. There is no complacency in basically any of the games. And no worries, Eric.
No, and I think I believe it was game 4 last year. There was nothing there. There was nothing there. The Bruins
Yep.
just completely run them over, go up 3-1, and you're like, okay, they're folding it in. And then they bounce back a couple of games and they're fighting back and they tie the series, but then you lose in game 7 off of it was a
Don't remind me.
crazy,
Don't remind me.
crazy play. Samsonov, whatever. We don't have to relive it. But I think this year, like with a different mindset and Berube as coach, they're not going to be able to let off the gas that easily, or you're just not going to play, I think, right? They've been playing well, so everyone's been playing. There's no reason to bench anyone, I think, at this point. But when we get to that point, I feel like Berube might not, he can't be afraid to do that. He's got to do that because then you get into a situation, you go down 3-1 like last year. So it's going to be interesting.
What about Brandon Tanev helping with the bottom 6? I don't think they're gonna trade for a defenseman. I feel like there's just a
Tanner's
lot.
right. He's a forward.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Well then, bottom
But
6.
I think he's
You're talking about-
yeah.
Okay, I got Chris Tanev. I don't. Yes, they're not gonna trade for a defenseman. Obviously, I don't think they're gonna trade for Brandon Tanev. Is what I meant to say. I just don't see it happening. They do need a bottom 6, but I just don't see it being Brandon Tanev.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's a third line center. I think it's one of the guys we've
I
mentioned.
also don't think they trade for a defenseman either. Where my
Well,
brain
no,
was going in
no.
two different ways. I don't think they trade
That's
for a
right.
defenseman. I thought I got mixed up with Chris Tanev. I was like, there you have Chris Tanev. I don't think they trade for a defenseman or a bottom 6. I think I spoke about that on one of the streams. Like I just don't see Brandon Tanev as an option there.
No, and I think I think
up,
Kyprios to get the, I see a couple of the Kyprios things about the goaltending. I do think Matt Murray's on his way out of Toronto. I think that the Leafs are going to be able to get something pretty nice for Matt Murray. He's not playing
Let's
much in
settle
the
down
Marlies.
pretty nice. I think.
No, like something like for a guy who's barely playing,
didn't
he's in the AHL. Like they're going to get some assets back from him. I think it's going to be nice. So,
yeah, they will. We'll some back.
I think he could be on the way out. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think that if there's a goalie on the way out, it's going to be Matt Murray, I think. Because to trade the other two young guys doesn't make sense. They're playing really well at the Marlies. Matt Murray's older. He's kind of served his purpose, I think, at this point for the team. And again, if one guy gets injured, yes, you'd like to have Matt Murray come in relief instead of Dennis Hildeby. I want, those guys to develop still in the Marlies. But if you can get some pretty good assets for him, I would let him go. Some teams need goaltending. So
Yeah,
I look at Colorado.
I mean, Dennis Hildeby, Askarov. They have a lot of guys. Yeah, no, Jose did not get a membership after, unfortunately. But yeah, no on Brandon Tanev for me. Although he's an interesting like, just rock the brothers all the way around. Alex Nylander,
Yeah,
you got
there'd be a
Brandon
lot of brothers
Tanev.
on it
Just
too.
keep on rocking it.
I like Bukestad, honestly.
Nick
I think that's
Bukestad.
a guy that they're gonna target. I really do. I think it's gonna be closer to the trade deadline, but I really do think that's a guy they're gonna target. I think that's the guy. Just
Yeah,
because they don't have to do anything crazy to make him fit in the cap. And he's a right shot, he's a big body. Could help.
Eric
Ryan
Martin.
O'Reilly back in Toronto.
Yeah, Ryan O'Reilly. Interesting. I mean, I've seen a lot of buzz about it. Not
Yeah.
entirely sold on. It would be good. Like, I feel like there's a lot of different things going on. Austin Matthews spoke out
Hmm.
on Mitch Marner hitting a 600 game milestone. You ready for this crazy quote?
Yes.
Almost full pension. that
That's
was his quote.
who said that, sorry?
Austin Matthews.
That's fantastic. I love that. That's a good dynamic they got in that dressing room. Everyone seems like they're having a good time. If only they can pull it together in the playoffs. But I think that's why fans are a little sour on things like that sometimes. But no, that's funny. That's good. I think there's something else I wanted to touch on as well. Um, Ryan O'Reilly, just quickly, because it's come up a lot. We're going to have a video on this as well, but just quick thoughts. If Nashville continues to lose, and ironically, Nashville plays Toronto in Toronto on Wednesday, if they continue to lose, I could see a situation where with 2 years left, Nashville might be like, hey, listen, we're going to get rid of this guy. We're going to get rid of a couple other guys we signed because it's not working. We got to start, retooling here, rebuilding. And the reason Ryan O'Reilly did not sign in Toronto, because he was offered the exact same contract the Predators offered him
4-4,
here,
baby.
was because he did not like how much emphasis was on the core four and how much they were played. That I think has changed a little bit with Berube, so I wonder if he'd be more open to coming back. He also didn't like playing third line center, I don't think. And I think he could come in and play second line center. I think you can move Tavares to the wing, and that would be fine at that point because you have Ryan O'Reilly, and I think he's a very effective centerman. So that would be interesting. Yeah, he says he was not a fan of the way things were going in that dressing room. That is out there. That is definitely out there. He was not a big fan of that and the dynamic. So maybe things have changed, right? Because you need like a Berube type to kind of nip that in the bud. So interesting. I wonder if they do take a look at it. I just don't know if he'd be
I
open
doubt
to
it. I
it.
don't think they. I mean, that might mess up the old chemistry they got going on if you bring back.
Yeah, I mean, he's been here before, right? So
Though at
maybe
the
open
same
to another
time,
option.
like maybe he would suck it up under Craig Berube and not hate it.
Well, he's won a Stanley Cup under that coach before, so maybe he would be open to returning because it's what he's about, right? So we'll I don't know, we'll see about that. I think that'd be
O'Reilly
interesting.
second center, Tavares third center.
Yeah.
He didn't like Sheldon. Yeah, he didn't like Keith. That was obvious, but
Yeah. I want to answer this question from Dan because I think this is actually a very good question.
saw that as well.
Brian Hayes on TSN said that the league should be more transparent. This is happening in the NFL too. The league should be more transparent about injuries instead of just labeling them lower body or upper body. What do you think about that, Nick? Because I know it's happening in the NFL as well. Obviously with fantasy, because it like messes with a lot of people's fantasy teams every week. So what do you think about that? I have my thoughts on it, but
Shane made a good point.
Yeah.
Guys would target injured areas if they had to be disclosed.
That's where I was going. Yeah.
I feel like in football you can do that too, but it's honestly ironic to say because football is the more aggressive sport in theory, but it's a bit harder to target in football. Like you're not going for, bodies are thrown around a little bit more directly in the NHL. I could see there's some dirty plays in the NHL where you can just go for guys and it be kind of like, I feel like out of every sport, NHL would be the sport where someone would get targeted. If they have I don't know, a knee injury or a leg injury, and they, you're hitting it with your stick the whole time. Obviously, I won't do damage, but just like continuing to get in their head about it, I think it'll become more of a mental thing than even a physical thing. So I don't think it's going to happen. It puts the player's safety at risk, and I mean, that's probably why it hasn't happened because it's not like a crazy concept in theory.
No, and I think Shane bringing that up, I think you're bang on because we can all pretend like a player wouldn't do that, like they would have more, I don't know, respect or whatever it is on the ice to do that. But if a team like the Leafs came out and said like, hey, Austin Matthews is dealing with a back injury, the first game back, somebody's going to cross-check him in the back. Like that is going to happen. That definitely happens in the NHL. So I think that they're doing that for that reason. And one thing, I can't remember where I heard this, but I heard this a couple years ago from somebody within the NHL. I'll get to it in a second.
Yep. Oh,
Robert.
Robert with the 5. All right, Robert. I'll dive into that. Question for Nick: do you think that the Jays get Soto? Maybe stupid question. I don't follow baseball. Do they have a salary cap like hockey? Baseball has no salary cap. I think they probably don't get Juan Soto, but they're involved in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. And if you're curious about it, I also run Jays Digest, so it's and we're talking about it a lot.
Lots happening there.
Yeah, I streamed like 4 hours ago on there. So if you're curious about the Soto stuff, you can check out Jay's Digest. But yeah, Robert, thank you for the 5. I don't think they get him, but no, there is no salary cap in baseball, which makes things very interesting. It's more so a luxury tax. So once you hit a certain threshold, the owner has to pay a lot more per $1 million that is spent over the threshold there. But I
Should
hope
be a thing in the NHL as well, by the way. Absolutely should be a thing. But
the
luxury cap, it's for sure, because then the Leafs could get anybody they want.
oh, instead of a salary cap, yeah, I mean it would be
the Leafs could get a super team together, and it wouldn't matter because they could pay for it. So
you'd hope the Jays should do that too, but it's not exactly.
I wanted to mention one last thing to get back to the injury thing. I did hear this a while ago. I can't remember who it was, and there was a little bit of this in the OHL too. You have to say that because players will target things like that. You have to do that. And the other thing I heard was if somebody or a team says, "Hey, so and so player is dealing with an upper body injury," that means he has an ankle injury. So they're always playing mind games with that stuff. It's never actually like Max Domi, just the way he was playing. They said it's a lower body injury. They could be telling the truth, but I feel like it's an upper body injury. I don't know exactly what it is, but just the way he was shooting or lack thereof, it could be that. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, and I don't think they should change it. It has to stay the way it is for the safety of the players, honestly.
Why do you use a background for Jay's Digest? Background is in what? Are you referring to like, I think some days when I record not from home, I have like a blue light background, but every time I'm home here, I have this, this is the background I use for both Jays and Leafs. But when I'm not at home, I use a green screen for the blue lights in the background, if that's what you're referring to.
Mhm.
Getting the inside scoop here, getting the inside scoop on the
The
channel.
Leafs would have a $1 billion salary cap, I think, if they could do that. They would they would get everyone available.
Yep. They would
They used to do that. They used to do that before the first lockout. Not the first lockout, the first lockout of the modern era, I guess, the 05, 06 one. But yeah, they used to.
very, very interesting. I think it's time for our 3 stars of the night. No, Blake, you're good. Yeah, I don't. When I'm home, I use like this, and then when I'm at where I'm not home, I use a green screen with the blue lights. That's why sometimes the quality is a bit different. Like obviously, I'm at my home studio now, so my quality is a lot better than not better, but mainly better than at the other places. All right, three stars of the night. Let's start with you.
This is an interesting one for me because I thought a lot of players had really, really good games. My third star tonight,
locked in.
my third star tonight, I'm going to give it to John Tavares. I thought he had another very solid game. He's continuing to do what he did. The last couple of games, he scored the goal he scored today. A little bit lucky, but I mean, like he was making it happen. So I thought it was nice to see him score again. He's having a fantastic season. He was my third star tonight.
Mine is also John Tavares. Phenomenal season, playing amazing, and exactly what you just said. So hopefully we don't have the same 3 stars here, but John Tavares is my number 3.
Yeah, my number 2 is, I think it's going to be the same, Nick. My number 2 is Mitch Marner. On the night, he was fantastic on the penalty kill. Again, didn't score tonight, but defensively, really showing what he can do tonight, and it's paying off for the Leafs. So he's playing very responsible. He's my second star.
Mine is going to be Anthony Stolarz at number 2. Probably should be number 1, but we'll change it up a little bit here. Got to change it up from Darius. Stolarz probably deserves number 1. Phenomenal game from Stolarz. Helped win in the game. But my 1 is obviously Mitch Marner. I just continue to be impressed by him, so I'm going to go ahead and just give him the number 1. I mean, he was clearly the most dominant player on the ice here offensively from both sides. Yeah. And even a lot of his defensive plays were impressive as well. So I'm going to give that to Stolarz 2 and Mitch Marner 3, which means for you, ultimately, Stolarz is number 1.
Yeah, Stolarz number 1. There was a couple times tonight where I thought the Leafs could have been down 3-1. He kept them in the game. He made some sure goal saves. There was one on Donato that was unreal. So would have liked to see him get the shutout again, but another great performance, and his stats are unbelievable. So he's my number 1.
Let us know in the Minten Mitch Stolarz. Honorable mention to Fraser Minten there. Should have probably given him the 3rd star actually because
he had a good game.
Got another goal. Very good game. But I mean, you can nitpick these. It's easy to do that, but. Definitely Mitch Marner for me, and what a game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're almost at an hour. This one flew by. It was it's It's a late one, especially with the late start to the game there. I agree. It should be a thing in the NHL too. No cap will be good. Robert, I'll check it out. Yeah, there'll be lots of Soto videos. 4 likes away for 50. Hit the like button before it's too late. We are, 5 likes away from 50. As it's past 11 p.m. Eastern time on a Tuesday, Monday? I guess Monday.
It is a Monday.
So yeah, any final stuff? Stay around for. I want to get to the hour, so stay around for about 5 more minutes or so, and then we'll wrap it up there. It was a good game. The Leafs are playing well, playing great hockey, and looking ahead now, they play.
That's what I was gonna get to. Yeah, schedule.
Yeah, I mean you can send it to me if you want, and we can go over. Leafs goalie tandem is great. It is phenomenal. It is definitely phenomenal.
A lot better than what we've seen in the past. So very interesting week this week, opponent wise. Like they should be able to pick up a couple points here. We'll get to it in a second, but they should be able to pick up quite a few points here this week.
Yes, they definitely should. We'll go back here. Then we'll get the schedule. But yeah, they should be able to really run away with hopefully at least not run away. Good game versus questionable opponent. Yeah, it's shocking. It is. Usually the Leafs don't do that. Also, I'm going to be in Toronto. I do have a date where I am going to be in Toronto. So I don't know if there's any Leafs games in the go, unfortunately, but as we get closer, especially, I'll give you guys, Jim, I know you wanted to meet up when I was there. So we can definitely get that going.
Yep. Just sent you the schedule there. We can talk about this week coming up.
Good.
Also, Connor Bedard, no shots, not even a single shot on goal tonight.
Nope.
So keeping him off the board. I really hope they don't waste his potential in Chicago because I was feeling that way about McDavid for a long time, and I hope that isn't the case with Connor Bedard.
Like I definitely love that song too. I sing it all the time. It's always stuck in my head. And I'm being unironic too. Me and Darius. I mean, I always just that song is always in my head.
It'll pop up, yeah.
You'll hear it in the end.
Yeah.
Meet up. Yeah, meet up. All right, let's start with this. Boom. Ready? Schedule. Whoa. Okay. I don't know if this is even. Oh, my screenshots aren't working. It's lovely.
Oh, just this week.
No, I know. My screenshots aren't working though.
Gosh, okay.
Let me drag this in. There we are. This'll do. Darius can come from Brenton. Yeah. All right, let's go into here. Blackhawks 4-1. Yeah, so this week, the rest of the week, they have the Predators, they have the Capitals, and they have the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, should be all wins.
You know the way it goes. It probably won't be. I feel like you should beat Nashville. Washington's going to be tough. They've been playing really, really well this year. Pittsburgh's probably a W on Saturday. They've not been playing well.
Back-to-back, though.
Yeah, I think that it is a back-to-back, but it's Pittsburgh. So they really have not been playing well. So I think that, yeah, definitely you can get like another 4 points out of this rest of the week here. Yeah, at the least. So I think that they got to be focused on that. They got to get just take it one game at a time because it's going to be a long, grueling month, and they got a lot of guys coming back from injury, so that might help boost things a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. But the Capitals, I'm looking at them this week as the team to beat, and they play the Capitals again later in the month, so it's going to be interesting to watch, and then that'll be it for the year. But
and luck the Capitals on the first night of the back-to-back, not the second.
Yeah, if you're going to play the stronger, like, you know, if you're going to play one strong team, one weaker team, hopefully, you know, you're playing the stronger team on the first night, which they are. So, but the good thing is here, I think like Woll will get Wednesday. I think Stolarz will get Friday. And I think Woll will get Saturday again. And everything's fine because you have trust in both goalies, and you have a tough schedule coming up, but they'll be rested and ready to go. So it's good.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see ultimately what kind of happens with the schedule, what happens with the team, because they have three more games in what is going to be a very busy week. Thank you for 50 likes as well. We hit it. 51 likes. Do the Caps have Ovi back? I don't believe so. Nope.
No, he's not back yet. He started skating for the first time today. But again, Dylan Strom's playing well. Connor McMichael's playing well. They have decent goaltending this year. Could be good.
Jim, Saturday's date night. I'll be absent from the chat. Not date night. Well, enjoy your Saturday night. No worries there. I was absent. I had a date night last Saturday, and Darius held it down. So it was a win. Nick Robertson scored, and I wasn't there. It's because I wasn't.
That's right.
I wasn't there.
It's a good thing I was there. Noted Nick Robertson defender. So That's
Enjoy that, Jim. Enjoy that. There'll be lots more Saturdays, aka every Saturday for the rest of the month for you to tune in if you get a chance to. So ultimately, it's gonna be you'll need a nominated deputy before you're gone. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? A very good stream today. Thank you everybody who tuned in. It was the first of many for this month, so it's gonna be very interesting. Darius, anything else before we wrap up? And again, video like usual tomorrow. Hey, Dan with the Magic member tier. Shout out to you, Dan. That is the upgraded tier. You get some benefits, some more emotes coming for you as well. And we're gonna start to get more involved with members, members only stuff, member only posts, members only stuff like that, whether it's streams or videos, wherever it ends up being members only content there. Won't take away from the normal content, but maybe definitely some bonus stuff for you also. Dan, thank you so much for that. Much appreciated. And any final thoughts, Darius, before we wrap up here? It's gonna be a busy month, so we'll continue the streams and every single game this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy month, so let's lock in for the ride here.
We're starting
to it in a second.
Blake, thanks so much. Last donation, 279. You might get it. You might get it.
You might get it this time. But
continue.
Thank you so much, Blake. You've been a amazing supporter for a long time, since the summer, I believe you've been here. So really appreciate that. But yeah, Leafs win tonight. Vibes are high. It's a nice win at home. I was kind of expecting it. I was hoping that they would win, but I think that they lose this game in the past, so it was a good thing that they won tonight, and they got to keep it rolling. It's a busy month. I'm excited to see what they do this month, and we're going to be seeing a lot of you guys the next couple of weeks, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, keep stacking up the wins. Keep stacking up the wins. Keep stacking up the points, and if you do that, good things will continue to come. And Blake the Snake Roberts. We got the last donation. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Jim, everybody, Shane, Dan, Robert, everyone who was everybody in here. Marquise, Duster, of course, Duster as well. Blake, Sim, Shane, every single person. Joshua, I don't want to miss anybody. Just the people. Stuart, Scott, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Blake as well. We'll see you all for a video tomorrow. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new, and have a safe night. And we will see you all in the video tomorrow. There's going to be some big news, I think, this week, and a lot of things going down. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Stay safe. We'll see you guys then. And Blake, I got you with the song, the outro song here. So if it's stuck in your head, then here you go. Just going to find it. Take it easy, guys. See you later. Digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first pop drop to the season's full. Tune in. Okay, I actually, we're unannouncing the outro here. Jim, the second, okay. So we're back temporarily for a minute. Jim got the final, and then Blake somehow came in afterwards at the buzzer, and then somehow Jim still doesn't get the final donation, even though the donation came up with the music on. You also just got a sneak peek of the music, not really a sneak peek, about 10 seconds of it. That was hilarious. I don't know.
We had to come back for that. I mean, that was right at the buzzer.
So I've never seen that. It was as soon as the outro line was playing. I hadn't hit end stream or anything yet, so we're gonna give it to Blake. I think Blake still gets it.
He had it, and he still beat the buzzer there, I believe. So
that was crazy, and then Blake's comes right after. So okay, I'm gonna slowly start to transition into the outro again, just making sure that Jim, I didn't. That
might be it.
Okay, I'm gonna go the outro. I mean, if you do it again, if it happens, good night, Shane. Have it going.
Thank you, Shane.
We'll see. Either way, we'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. I'm like,
yes.
Great tune. It is a phenomenal tune. You get to hear it again. You get to hear it double up and have a. I mean, Jim, if you get it again during the outro,
we'll talk about it next stream. We'll get you next stream. Well, yeah.
Under $1 doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
It came up.
It does. It does count. It does count.
So, all right, take it easy,
thank you,
everybody.
Everyone. Take care, everyone.
I feel like it might happen, but we'll take it easy, everybody. We'll see you later, and
see
you in tomorrow's video. Have a good one. Digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first pop drop to the season's full. Tune in and watch the drama